My name is Olivia, I'm 39 years old, and for the 5th year in a row, I got a sorry, we've been busy text for my birthday, while my sister got a beach vacation and a new purse. Before I tell you how I finally shut them out and exposed the one secret that made their entire world collapse, let me know where you're watching from in the comments. It started like any other birthday morning. I woke up, and the first thing I saw was the ding of a text message on my phone. It was from my mom. The exact same words as last year and the year before that. I could have recited it from memory. Happy birthday, honey. Sorry, we're a little busy. We'll call you soon. Love you. Just busy. A few minutes later, while I was making coffee, Instagram served up a fresh, glossy picture. It was my sister, Megan, grinning from ear to ear on a beautiful, sun-drenched balcony overlooking the ocean. In her lap was a brand new Gucci purse. The caption, from my mother, read, "Celebrating my baby girl's birthday early. Nothing but the best for you." The location tag was Charleston, South Carolina. My blood ran cold. It was the same beach house they'd rented for the last 3 years. My birthday is in June. Megan's is in August. They weren't busy. They were on vacation. Celebrating her. Forgetting me. Again. It was a familiar ache, a dull throb I'd lived with my whole life. I was Olivia, the responsible one. The one who got a scholarship, who bought her own car, who never asked for anything. Megan was the fragile one, the one who needed constant support, attention, and, apparently, designer handbags. My fiancé, Nathan, walked into the kitchen. He saw the look on my face, glanced at my phone, and then at his. He'd seen the Instagram post, too. He didn't say "I'm sorry" or "that's messed up." He just looked at me with this incredibly gentle expression and asked a question that shattered something deep inside me. "Are you tired of being the strong one?" And just like that, the dam broke. All the years of swallowing my hurt, of making excuses for them, "They're just forgetful, Megan's going through a lot," it all came flooding back. I wasn't just remembering, I was reliving it. I told him about my 32nd birthday. I'd managed to get a reservation at this impossible-to-book Italian place. My parents canceled an hour before we were supposed to meet. The reason? Megan had a bad day at work and needed my mom to come over. I told him about my wisdom tooth surgery. My mom promised she'd pick me up. I waited for an hour in the recovery room, drugged and disoriented, before finally calling an Uber to take me home, my mouth full of gauze. Her excuse later? She lost track of time. Then came the memory that still felt like a physical wound. The year I had a miscarriage. The doctor said I could go home, but I shouldn't be alone. I called my mom. She said she'd be right there. 2 hours later, I took the loneliest Uber ride of my life, curled into a ball in the backseat, trying not to cry. When I finally got a text from her the next day, it read, "So sorry about yesterday. I just figured you'd want to be alone." Nathan just listened, his hand gripping mine. His quiet support was the one thing in my life that felt real, and it made the emptiness from my family feel like a black hole. This time was different. The 5 years of identical birthday texts, the blatant lie, the Gucci purse, it wasn't just neglect anymore. It was a choice. They were actively choosing to erase me. I picked up my phone, my hands shaking slightly. I pulled up my mother's text message. My thumb hovered over the screen. For years, my response had been the same, a cheerful thanks. No worries. This time, I typed 5 words. 5 simple, terrifying words. Don't bother calling. I'm done. I hit send. The phone blew up instantly. My mother's reply came in seconds. "Are you serious right now?" Not "what's wrong?" Not "I'm sorry." Just indignation. How dare I have feelings about their behavior? Then the calls started. 10 missed calls from her in the first hour. An email from my father landed in my inbox. It was a masterpiece of gaslighting. Not a single word of apology, just a long tirade about how I was being selfish, dramatic, and trying to ruin their vacation. He said I was tearing the family apart. Then came the tearful voicemail from Megan. "I don't know what's going on, Liv," she sobbed, "but you're putting me in the middle of this, and it's really unfair." I didn't answer any of it. I put my phone on silent. For the first time, I didn't try to fix it. I didn't try to smooth things over. I just let their chaos exist without my participation. The silence was deafening, but it was also powerful. A week later, an invitation arrived in the mail. It was for my father's retirement party. Tucked inside, in my mother's elegant handwriting, was a little note: "Let's put all this behind us and be a family again. Please come." A guilt trip wrapped in cardstock. The pressure was immense. Part of me, the part that had been conditioned for 39 years to keep the peace, wanted to cave. I actually drafted a text message, an apology I didn't owe, just to make the noise stop. Then, two things happened. First, I got a call from my aunt, my mom's sister. "Olivia, honey, your mother called me. She's so worried about you," she said, her voice dripping with fake concern. "She said you're not well." Not well. They weren't telling people I was hurt, they were telling people I was unstable. It felt like a punch to the gut. Right at that moment, as I was spiraling, an email notification popped up on my computer screen. It was from the CEO of my firm. My heart leaped into my throat. I was sure I was about to be fired. I opened it, my hands trembling. But it wasn't bad news. It was a note praising me for landing a massive client, a deal I'd been working on for months. He specifically mentioned my extraordinary grace and integrity under pressure. He said I was the most reliable asset on his team. Reading those words, that professional validation from someone who saw my actual worth, it was like a shot of adrenaline to my soul. It was the armor I didn't know I needed. And I was going to need it. I decided not to go to the retirement party. Instead, I let them call. A few days after the party, my mother demanded I come over for a serious talk. I agreed. It was time. I walked into my parents' living room. They were both there, along with Megan, a united front of disapproval. My mother started. "Olivia, this has gone on long enough. You've made your point. Now it's time to stop this nonsense. I need you to sign the quarterly transfer papers from your grandfather's trust." She said it so casually, so dismissively, like she was asking me to pass the salt. I looked at her. Then at my father, then at Megan, who was scrolling on her phone. They had no idea. They truly had no idea. I reached into my bag and pulled out a folder. I placed it gently on the coffee table. "The Nightingale Trust," I said, my voice calm and steady in the suddenly quiet room, "was established by Grandpa before he died. He made me, not you, the sole trustee." I let that sink in. He did it because he said I was the only one who understood that money was a tool, not a toy. For the last 10 years, as the trustee, I have authorized quarterly disbursements to fund this household. To pay for the mortgage, the cars, the vacations. I paused and looked directly at Megan. The purses. My legal obligation was to manage the trust for the family's well-being. But the trust also gives the trustee full discretionary power. I opened the folder. Inside was a single sheet of paper. "This is my official letter of resignation as trustee, effective immediately. Per the terms of the trust, a corporate bank will take over management. They will not be as generous." The silence that followed was absolute. The color drained from my mother's face. My father's jaw went slack. Megan finally looked up from her phone, her eyes wide with dawning horror. For the first time in my life, they were looking at me. Really looking at me. not as their difficult daughter, but as the person who had been silently holding up their entire world. And had just let it go. My mother was the first to speak, her voice a strangled whisper. "You can't do this." My father found his voice. "Olivia, this is our money. Our lifestyle." "It was Grandpa's money," I corrected him gently. "And he entrusted it to me. I spent a decade making sure you were all comfortable." I stood up, my body feeling lighter than it had in years. For years, I felt invisible in my own family. The irony is, I was the one keeping it all afloat. I'm not doing it anymore. My peace is more important. I walked to the front door, and for the first time, no one's angry words could reach me. I closed the door behind me and didn't look back. That was 6 months ago. The aftermath was messy, angry letters from lawyers, tearful calls I didn't answer. But eventually, it faded. The noise stopped. A few weeks ago, I got an email. It was from Megan. Just 3 sentences. "I'm sorry, Liv. I never saw it. I'm trying to now." It was the first honest thing she'd said to me in years. I read it, felt a small, quiet release in my chest, and then I archived it. Forgiveness, I'm learning, doesn't always require a reunion. I'm sitting here now in my apartment. It's quiet. Nathan is making dinner. Last month, I took that solo trip to Sedona I'd always dreamed of. I bought myself a beautiful, comfortable armchair and put it right by the window. I'm not invisible anymore. I didn't need them to see me. I just needed to see myself. The silence I used to be so afraid of doesn't feel like loneliness anymore. It feels like peace. Thank you all so much for listening to my story. It wasn't easy to share, but it felt important. I have to ask, have you ever had to choose your own peace over a toxic family dynamic? Let me know your own stories in the comments below. And if this resonated with you, please give it a like and consider subscribing for more stories. It would mean the world to me.